And I never wanted to be a leader, but sometimes situations make you become a leader. The first reason that inspired me to be a leader is just to be someone to help other people when they need. When you keep improving yourself, you're getting better and better at your job. Sometimes opportunities just come, you can grab it, and that's make me a leader of who I am. Sometimes I am put as a leader, not because I wanted to, but probably because maybe there was no one better, or there's no one else who fit this position. Management is doing the things right, and leadership is doing the right things. Having the right management is really important. There are a lot of tasks for a great leader, one of which is to create an environment that the work is efficient, effective, and impactful. A super communicator is the one who are great at listening rather than talking.
ជំរាបសួរសូមស្វាគមន៍មកកាន់កម្មវិធី Mon Parcours CLE ដែលថ្ងៃនេះយើងមានភ្ញៀវកិត្តិយសដ៏ពិសេសរបស់យើងគឺលោកសុកសុភ័ក្រហើយនៅក្នុងកម្មវិធីនេះដែរពួកយើងនឹងជជែកគ្នាក្រោមប្រធានបទភាពជាអ្នកដឹកនាំ Hello បង
បាទជំរាបសួរសុភា
How are you
I'm great, thank you. Well, we can switch the language a little bit to English or in Khmer, it doesn't matter. But for me, I feel a little bit more comfortable using English. It doesn't necessarily mean that I cannot speak Khmer, of course. But you know what? There's something interesting about choosing a language because in fact, language can tell us a lot about many things, one of which is personality. I'm sure as a multilingual speaker yourself, French, English, Khmer, and probably Chinese as well, and a little bit, of course. And so when you switch language, you feel different, different mood, different personality. Right. For example, when I switch to English, I feel kind of a little bit different. I mean, probably more expressive and kind of a bit more professional, I would say. So I'm going to use English.
It's okay, Bon. Thank you so much. So before starting to ask you many questions about the leadership, I would like you to introduce yourself. Can you introduce yourself, please?
All right. Thank you for this opportunity. I am Sopet Sok. Just call me Sopet. And a lot of international friends would know me as Frank. It's a direct translation from my name as Sopet to Frank. Currently, I am a dean or a director of a language school, which trains students to be able to speak English, French, or Chinese. It's an organization that I feel very passionate about, because you know we have been helping thousands of disadvantaged children to relieve them up from misery or poverty to a decent job, you know, like me and you right now. We can still have a good life because we have a decent job, and so we're also lucky to have that, you know. But some people are not that fortunate to having a job they love. So our job there is to help them, you know, to fulfill their potential. So these human resources will help other people, and that's I'm so happy about working there anyway. So yep, and recently I'm also in charge of developing people life skills. So it's not just foreign languages that they are able to have, but also they're gonna have a set of good life skills so that they can live their life better. For example, communication or leadership or emotional intelligence, for example.
That's very impressive. I'm really proud of you. Yes. So I would like to start the first question with a very simple one, but it's not easy as well. So the first question is, can you tell us about your leadership journey and what inspired you to become a leader?
All right, thank you. So that's a journey. Well, it's going to be a long journey, and this year I'm already 42 years old. So you asked about journey, so it's going to be like 42 years of experiences. Right. What inspired me to be a leader? Actually, I didn't want to be a leader. I never wanted to be a leader at all. Because I know leaders have to shoulder a lot of responsibility, leaders have to be very knowledgeable, and leaders have to do tough job. But so basically, since I was at my young age, I never dreamt of becoming a leader. But then now, I am a leader of school and organizations that has about at least 50 people under me, serving about 3, 4, 5,000 students. So why it's coming that way? I would say is the wave of life, is the destiny. I would say 2 words that make me become who I am as a leader today is the free will meeting the destiny. Well, by that, it comes from just a word. So once again, I never wanted to be a leader, but sometimes situations make you become a leader because of this. I remember this. Like years ago, I read a quote saying, "Be the one you need when you were young." Well, think about this. Be the one I need when I was young. So when I was young, I am the eldest brother. Still now, of course, I am the eldest brother. And my mom and dad had to come to the city to earn a living for us. And I was brought up by my grandmother, who was a widow. And she had to support me, although she was old, selling vegetable. And at the time, when I was thinking about this and that, I was frustrated. I didn't know what to do. I just had no one. So I thought, I wish I had someone that I needed when I was young, which I didn't have. But so because of this, and when I became a teacher, and I thought, well, why can't I just be a teacher when I needed when I was a student? Because you can recall when you were younger, when you were learning anything, my English, mathematics, you would always find the best teacher and also not so good teacher. And then some teachers you never wanted to have class with him or her because the behavior, the feelings, it's just bad. But there are also great teachers that you really wanted to become one. And the same, when you were working for an organization, some organization, you were unlucky. You meet some leaders who, for example, lack of empathy, lots of gossip around, didn't have good intention on you, or just simply selfish. And then or some people are very toxic boss or toxic people, and very uncivilized. So then when we're meeting this kind of people, we feel bad about it. So when you become a leader, just be the one that you needed when you were not a leader at the time. So looking back, I'm just trying to be a leader that I need when I were nobody, when I was not a leader. And that it's something that we call empathy, I would say. Yep. I think there are lots of similar things between being a mother and being a leader. Because I think great leaders have lots of characteristics as a great mother. Say, as a mother, you know your child very well. You may have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 10, but you know all of them very well, their personality and so on. So know your team members clearly, genuinely. And a great mother also has empathy. A mother knows whether this child or that child feels something about themselves toward the mother and toward other members of the team. So when mother have very deep level of empathy, she could be a great one because she could solve any problem that the children need. And I think a great mother also cares so much about their child, their children, in the way as a great leader, they genuinely care. They truly care about their team members, not necessarily at a professional level, but sometimes at a personal level, real, true caring. And I'm sure the audience here, even you're married sometimes, but your parents still come and visit you, and that's how it is. Oh, thinking about this, it's interesting when I got some staff members who leave from my organization, and then there's this word saying, usually I would say, you may leave the company, but not the people. And that's what we make us meeting today. All right. What else? What inspired me to be a leader? I think the second one is the continuous improvement. So the first reason that inspired me to be a leader is just to be someone to help other people when they need. The second one is about improving myself. Once again, when you keep improving yourself, you're getting better and better at your job. And sometimes opportunities just come and you can grab it. Yeah, and that's make me a leader of who I am today as well. And I think the last one is probably the situation. It's because recently, I've just read a quote. They say, there's a picture of a man who is having a diarrhea. And then when you have a diarrhea, you don't have to read any directions, where is the door and whatsoever. You do anything to get out of the room, you can find the bathroom by yourself when you got a diarrhea. The same way for me, sometimes I am put as a leader, not because I wanted to, but probably because maybe there was no one better, or there's no one else who fit this position, so I gotta be in that. And when you're in that leadership positions, when they need you, and that's the most real thing that you have to overcome. For example, as I told you, I am the oldest child. I am the oldest brother in the family. And my mom and dad are away. I have just an old grandmother. So then I have to be strong. I got no choice, but I have to be very strong. I have to lead all of my brothers and sisters. I have to be a great role model. There's no choice for me to be weaker, to be, let's say, a bad brother. It would give the bad influence to my, brother and sister. Okay, so that's the response to question number one. That is, what inspired me to be a leader is because I just want to be somebody who need when I was younger. So helping other people, I just want to improve myself and people around me. And sometimes situation or opportunity just come at the right time, and you become just that one. So it's all the combinations of your free will, your hard work, plus the destiny as well. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mon. It's not just something that I can learn a lot from you. It showed me, because I've been working with you for several years, and I learned a lot from you, especially how you try to show the emphasis toward us and to be the one who is patient a lot, even in the hard situation. You try to understand, and you are an active listener. And I really appreciate it. Until now, yeah, I learned a lot from you. So I would like to ask you to the next question. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced early in your leadership parts?
Okay. Actually, I've been in the middle management and leadership role for the past 8 or 10 years, yeah. And I would say one of the mistakes, maybe not necessarily mistakes, but one of the things that I would like to have improved looking back at the past was that management. we need to improve our management skills. Of course, there's a big difference between leadership and management. To me, to famously quote, to quote it from the famous Peter Drucker, they say, management is doing the things right, and leadership is doing the right things. I like to repeat Peter Drucker's quote. Management is doing the things right, and leadership is doing the right thing. I guess I usually know the right things to do because I naturally, maybe because I am born in a not so well-off family, so I understand people's need and I try to give the needs. So that's always the right thing. To me, being kind is always the right thing. But sometimes you have to understand the system in your organization to have a good management and control of the organization as well, how things run. So I would say earlier in my leadership positions, what I should learn more is about management is also important. You may have the heart to do the right things, but your direction might not be as efficient and as good as you want if you don't have the system in your own organization. So having the right system is important. For example, you can relate to the COVID time, COVID-19. Everybody was struggling to survive. Everybody was trying to help each other as well. But if we didn't have good system, you know, whether it is family, it is school, it is government, you tend to fall, you know, without the right system. During that time, I was a school director in an international school, and my school could survive because we had not just only the heart to lead, but also the financial support and also especially the online support system that we could survive. So understanding system, having the right management is really important. Yeah, that's the first point to answer your questions. And number two, then another challenge during my early years of leadership is funny. I treat everybody the same. I think in retrospect, now I understand why I treated all of my staff the same way, as like the same way, because that came from me as a teacher. Because I had been a teacher for about maybe 10 years before I became a leader myself, and I treat all my students fairly, no matter who they are, the very smart, the very intelligent, the middle achiever and the low achiever. And then, you know, when I first became a manager or a leader, I treated everybody the same way. I think there's nothing wrong with that as treating everybody fair, but something so wrong is that you treat people with different personalities, different values, the same way, and that's the biggest mistake I've ever made. So I would say the second point that as a challenge for me is the ability to read people and treat them accordingly. Because some people are highly empathetic themselves, so we could understand each other, it's all right. The style of communication is soft and gentle, understanding, compassionate, and so on. But other people, it's like, we're just different. I mean, they could be straight and direct, sometimes could be very aggressive, and some people didn't share the same value as we did. For example, just very much money-oriented or business-oriented. Others like people-oriented. And there are other things. There are also intentions behind that as well. And some people are just, they like to follow orders and rule, maybe because how they were doing in their previous job, and they're used to being a followers. They didn't take initiatives. Others are kind of in the middle. They can take initiative, or they tend to wait for you to give them idea. Other are very creative. They can do things by themselves. So we have to look at these people differently. We should be trying to understand their strengths, their weaknesses, their values, and so on. So we can help them better, and they can help us better as well. Looking back to the analogy between a leader and a mother, a mother knows their children's strengths and weaknesses, so the mom could have better the same way as a leader as well. Right, and another thing, as a great leader, the challenge also, which is not really a big challenge for me, that is about the knowledge and the skill to be a leader in that, let's say, organization or in that field. No matter who you are, at what level you're at as an expert, there's always something you can learn from. For example, I'm sure you're very proficient in your French language, me in English, for example, but we are never going to be perfect, So there's always room for improvement. I've been leading an organization for the past 5 or 8 years, but there are always things that we can learn so we can improve ourselves and the whole organizations. So the last one I would say is to keep improving your knowledge about the field you're working on. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Bong. I don't have anything to add. I just come to the third question. How would you describe your leadership style?
Okay, so in the literature about leadership, there are lots of different kind of styles, right? But then I would look at myself for now. To be successful, I think I'm going to combine 3 leadership styles in my current position, and even beyond that, I would describe as a combination of 3 leadership styles. The first one, I would call that as a transformational leadership. Yeah. So let me explain this a bit in terms of relationship and also leadership. There are 2 kinds of relationship that you can have with your staff member. That is transactional and transformational. Now, imagine this. Say you are meeting with a new person. You're making friends with a new person. And the person is a businessman. Then he wants to sell a product to you. Let's say a book. Then the book costs about $10. So you got the book and you give him the money. He got the money, you got the book. So this kind of relationship is very transactional, right? You exchange in the value, you exchange the benefits. That is, at best, is the mutual benefits you two get from each other. Another kind of relationship is transformational. For example, rather than just doing a business, you talk about, let's say, you got the book from him and you give him the money, but more than that, you both are sharing about families, about work, and then you become closer, you learn from each other. He might become your mentor and teach you become even more successful. And you teach him about love and relationship and kindness and so on. So both of you get out of that relationship, not just simply a book and $10, but it changed your life for better. That is, so you both have been transformed by that relationship. And then a great leader is not just, giving you salary, but they give you the life lesson, and that can change you. So I think a great leader is the one that can see your potential and then can bring it up higher. So you are better. And everyone is getting better because of this. and that is called transformational leadership. And that's what is my favorite, and that's what I've been trying to do as well as a leader. So for example, there are a number of projects for my team. So whenever there are projects, I think about, if I assign this project to that particular staff member, will he learn something new from that? Will it be better than that? It's not just simply a delegation, but it's a chance to learn. So the person can be transformed, you know? Yeah. And also extra miles, yep. So the person with a transformational leadership, the motivation is not just quick, unlike money. That transformational leadership give us a long-lasting motivation and inspiration to go extra mile without just money. So the first type I would love is transformational leadership. That can make your staff member to become a better person to reach their potential. The second one is, I would say, servant leadership. That is when your leader becomes your servant. Well, you know, there are a lot of tasks for a great leader, one of which is to create an environment that the work is efficient, effective, and impactful. So we can be the one who created environment by serving those staff members. And to be the great servant is to understand what their masters need. And that is when empathy comes into play. So when you understand all your staff member, their strengths, their weaknesses, so you can serve them better. You can serve them better. For example, in our current organization, we're using a lot of seven leaderships. Even our customer, well, I wouldn't prefer to use the word customer because like very much business oriented. Actually, we call them as beneficiaries. We give them benefits and we serve them. Yeah, we really serve them. So the same way, I am a school director, I'm a dean, but my work is to serve them, to create an environment where they can be at their best, where they can serve other people well. So servant leadership is the second one. And the last one, I would say, it's my favorite as well, is authentic leadership. I love authenticity because in authenticity there is power. I don't know how I can describe it well because you have to feel it. For example, when you are talking to a person, when you're talking to a person, you just sense that the person is trying to fake something or the person is really authentic, you know. And now, if you look at yourself in situations where you have to pretend a bit, to be a bit more formal, to be professional, or sometimes you can try to be rich or to look rich among the rich people, or you try to look crazy among the crazy people, whatever. I don't think you feel comfortable for long. You have to fake it. Of course, there are people saying, fake it till you make it. There's another way of dealing with it. But you know, imagine if you're with a person or a group of people, you can truly be yourself. I think that's a blessing, and you can shine in your own way. And that's the power of authenticity. And as a leader as well, being authentic doesn't mean that you're always strong all the time. There are times that you show your vulnerability. You could be highly emotional at times. You could be a weak person because you're only humans. But it gives us power. It gives us relatability, you know. And therefore, it's touching people's heart. I remember Rumi's quote saying, Words from the heart enter the heart. So, in any training or public speaking, I would tell people that if you want to give an inspirational speech as a leader, if you want your heart, your words to reach people's heart, it has to come from your own heart, you know, and that's the importance of authenticity. And I like to repeat Rumi's quote, you know, words from the heart. If words come from the heart, they can go into the other people's heart. So it's not just word, you know. When you got, as a leader, you got your vision. You want to change for the better your organization, to help others, to help the team. And when this reach into people's heart, that's a great thing. We can do it all together. So I'd like to sum up. For now, I would combine the three leadership styles together: the transformational, that help to reach people's potential; the 7 leadership, create an environment that people become their best; and last is authentic leadership, that it's okay to show your weaknesses as long as you have good intention to help other people, because we're not God, we're just human.
Yeah, that's perfectly so good. So I heard someone said, like, in the workplace, be real but professional. And then I heard that people said, like, you can have your personality, but be the one who is open-minded and keep having growth mindset. And then the last one, I don't remember so well, but maybe like be friendly but not emotional. It feels like in the workplace, keep being professional, not take everything like so personal, you know. And by listening to the way you explain me about this, I feel like as a leader, it's not easy. You try to be professional, but you try to show your empathy, you try to understand people as well. I feel like it's really situationship, you know. It's not easy at all, yeah. So that's why it's not everyone that can become a great leader. So the next question is, who have been your biggest influence or mentors as a leader?
Okay, thank you so much. I think that's a very important question, because it can help people to be better. I love the word teachers, educator, mentor, and coach. So if you look at all the world athletes around the world, whether they are artists, they're singer, they're Olympic runner, they always have coach or mentors, somebody who influenced them. Yeah. And the same way, you know, it would be a bless or fantastic to have a coach or mentor. Currently, I don't really have any one official mentors, but to respond to your questions, I would say, so who give me the most influences as a leader? I think obviously the first group of people are my current leaders in my current organizations. Why? Because they are so genuine, they are so authentic. A few of my leaders were so unique in their own way. Yeah, in their own way. They're unique, they're authentic, they're real. And with these real people, sometimes they don't talk much. They might not be the great speaker or talker, but they are the ones who did. They are the ones who really give impacts to people around them. And I love this. If you wanna see the impact of their leadership position, you can look at those disadvantaged children, how much how much better their life is. You know, for the past 30 years in my organizations, there are thousands of disadvantaged Cambodian children who now have decent job. And that's the pride that we all have. And it's come from those authentic leaders who not just speak or talk or show. They're the one who do. So I'm very much inspired by these people. So, of course, I might be a good talker, a speaker at times, but I would prefer to also be a great doer myself. All right. So the first group that influenced me the most as a leader are my current leadership teams in my own organization. The second one, I would like to share a quote which is keep inspiring me as well, and I hope it's inspiring you. The quote is from the quote is no other than the quote from our famous physicist Isaac Newton. In front, like Isaac Newton. Isaac Newton was one of the most famous scientists who found about the Earth's gravity when he was under an apple tree, right? It's a famous story. And then Isaac Newton say, during the interview, he say, you know, I was the one who found or invented the formula of Earth's gravity, but it wasn't me alone, you know. And he say, quote, he say, if I could see further than others, that is because I was standing on the shoulders of giants. Once again, if I see further and if I see further than other people, that's because I am standing on the shoulders of giants, plural, giants. So Newton was very humble. He was a genius, but he was very humble. But it's also true that before him, there was a lot of other scientists who wrote about that, and he kept reading it. He kept in this and that. So he was standing on a lot of giants. I think in the same way, me too. My skills so far are TESOL, that is teaching English to other speakers, teaching English as a foreign language to other speakers. Basically, it's foreign language education, leadership, and also personal developments. So one of those few giants are based on certain field, into 3 fields maybe. The first one is regarding habit formation, because I'm a guy who is a big believer in having a great habit. Human beings are are creatures of habits. We do anything out of habits. So if you want to improve your life, you look at your small habit and improve it. Right? You wanna lose weight. You wanna look healthier. Look into your habit. You wanna learn more as a great reader or writer. Look into your habit. You wanna be a leader. Look into your habit. You wanna present. Look into your habit. So you wanna be a great lover. Look into the habit. So a few giants, I stand on their shoulders, as in habits, are Sean Covey's, the author of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens. Stephen Covey, same thing, as a dad who write the 7 Habits of Effective People. And a few more, it's like Charles Duhigg. He wrote the book on the powers of habits. Is the New York Times bestseller, very powerful book. And the most important book that changed my life as well is by James Clear. James Clear wrote Atomic Habits. So all of these guys are habits guy. They're habits guru, you know. So these are my giants in terms of habit formation. I am also very much into personal development. I just want to grow. So those gurus are Tony Robbins, they're Jim Rohns, they're Brian Tracy, and some of the TED Talkers. For example, Chris Anderson, who is the director of the TED Talk himself. Last but not least, I think I find myself very lucky and fortunate to learn not just about great habit to become a great person, but also I found other master or guru for me, not just to be successful at work, but also to become a man of kindness and compassion. So I met a few people like Thich Nhat Hanh, Of course, I mean, I'm not meeting them face to face, but I've read their books and their work. Thich Nhat Hanh was a monk. He was said to be an enlightened being. He was very deeply compassionate. He was also the victim of war in Vietnam, and so he traveled to Europe. But then, to make it short, he was a man of so much compassion and kindness and happiness. So that would probably be the highest level of human intelligence, is to be able to find their own happiness by themselves. So these people are spiritual gurus like Thich Nhat Hanh, like Eckhart Tolle. Tolle, he's also my favorite author. He's one of the most influential spiritual leaders around the world. He wrote a few books. One is The Power of Now, and the last book are The New Earth. Both are great. And also I'm also having my master, like secret master, who has a very big influence on how I look at happiness. Yeah. So my apology if I've been talking too much. Lots of great influences on me are the one I've just shared earlier in terms of different fields like habits formation, like personal development and happiness. And in each field there are other great gurus as well. So to the audience, to the listener, if you want to be better in any field, it's great to find your giants and stand on their shoulders, right?
Yes, I will keep it in mind. Yeah, thank you so much, Mom. So, what are the most important qualities a leader should have?
All right. As you may have known during our discussions, you just said earlier that being a great leader is never easy. And of course it's not. The same way as being a great mother, it's not an easy job. But interestingly, most mothers, I would say, almost all mothers become great mothers eventually because of many qualities. But I'm just going to pick up some of the most important ones. The first one is, I would say, emotional intelligence. As a great leader, it's important that you are intelligent emotionally. I would give emphasis on empathy. Yep. There's an interesting read on a website the other day. The website tried to explain the difference between empathy and sympathy, and they say sympathy is understanding other people's suffering, but from a distance, and empathy, you understand their feeling, their difficulty, and you do it with them. You try to help them out of this. And I think empathy matters because you understand their feelings, but you also, in that situation, you're trying to help things out. What's going on? So a great leader would ask, hey, how are you today? What's going on? What can I do to support? What can I do to help? What really are your main challenges? Let's sit down and talk, or let's have a coffee and talk. So that's important. And I think empathy would need authenticity, because people could never tell you how they truly feel if you are not authentic, if you're not real. So probably it's simple. I mean, to be able to get connected to other people truly, you have to show your true colors to others as well. You start with trust, with sharing and caring, which is genuine, where it's not showing. So the other person would feel that true feeling, and they might share back to you. So emotional intelligence plays a very important role as a leader, because in order to help your team member, you have to understand them, and they have to understand you as well. And emotional intelligence, that's how I feel. I don't know what people call it, social intelligence or emotional intelligence. Imagine you are in a room. Let's say you enter a room, and usually each room have their own atmosphere, like aura. You feel like certain kind of emotion. You enter a room, for example, you enter 3 different rooms with 3 different kinds of leaders. In some meeting room, you feel great tension. The atmosphere was so tense and formal, and all is about KPIs and targets to hit, and effort to put in, and pressure. So that kind of room, that's one kind of meeting room. The other one is kind of safe space to express feeling. It's safe. We're putting effort, but they're also safe space to express your feeling, and you sense the care and maybe a little bit of pressure at the same times. That's kind of care and pressure for growth and clarity and so on. Some of the room are just a complete mess. People don't care about their work and their job. It's very messy. There's no clear vision and mission. They just come to work so they can come back home. So there are always different kind of meeting feelings when you go there. And I believe if you are a very sensitive person, I mean highly emotionally intelligent, you can tell that, and you can act accordingly as a leader or as a follower that way. So emotional intelligence, empathy, and authenticity are truly important as a leader. Yep.
Yeah, this is a real power. I can call it a real power. Yeah.
Thank you. And so can I just add 2 more points?
Yeah, please.
And the second point I would say is effective communication. Yeah, effective communication. People would look at communication as something very simple. That is, you want to communicate, you just simply talk. And which I think not wrong, but just part of the equation. I mean, it's not always right. In fact, sometimes the mistake that communicators do is to talk, to keep talking and talking and talking when you don't have to. Sometimes if you want to be a great communicator, just shut up. You have to listen much more. So because I've been to lots of different meetings, and sometimes even you are at a very higher level of leadership, sometimes it's not clear what the person is trying to convey to you. Yeah, it's not clear. And people who follow need clarity during meeting. Yep. So it's important that you're able to communicate clearly. Sometimes you just don't have to talk at all, A super communicator is the one who are great at listening rather than talking. Yep. So sometimes just shut up and listen to people more. Let me tell you what Simon Sinek shared about Nelson Mandela. So I'm trying to share what people share. Anyway, Sinek say that what he learned a lot from Nelson Mandela was this. Nelson Mandela, as a young boy, he sometimes joined the meeting with his dad. His dad was a leader in that organization. And he attended the meeting with his dad. And what he noticed about his dad was that his dad was the last to talk. During a meeting, he asked everybody to talk, to express opinions and ideas. He was the one to ask questions and people would talk. And then he was the last to talk. So and then he said, well, that's one of the best lessons he learned as a leader, is that if it's not necessary, you don't have to talk. You just have to listen more, because in listening to your people, you understand their perspective. Yeah, and lucky I did the same to my teams, and I learned a lot from them. Yeah, sometimes I just conclude the meeting. Sometimes when it's not necessary, I just don't have to talk. Yeah. Okay. The last thing about leader quality is, as a great leader, you have to keep learning all the times to improve yourself. But it's not enough. It's not enough. You have to grow other people as well. Because the second part is important. Like the famous Jack Welch saying, Jack Welch was one of the most quoted leaders. He was in General Electrics. He say, before you became a leader, to be successful is to grow yourself. But when you are a leader, to be successful, you have to grow other people. And that's very important. Yeah. So 3 big points. The qualities of leaders is emotional intelligence, empathy, and authenticity. The second one is effective communication. And the last one is, I just mentioned earlier, that is continuously learning and developing yourself and your teams.
How do you stay motivated and keep your team inspired?
All right. There are a few things on having the motivation and inspiring your teams. I think the first one is the goal and the impacts. Yeah. Thinking about this, it reminds me of the time when I joined a workshop and people were talking about how to keep inspiring your people to do their work. And there are lots of different things in there, lots of different strategy to retain your talents. One of which I believe is to let them see the power of their own contributions and the impacts that they give every single day at a personal level, as an individual contributor, the team, and then the whole social impacts. I can give the real example of that. I think currently at my own workplace, many people are very happy about their own job because they know clearly that every single thing they do every day give direct impacts to our beneficiaries. Yeah. So people, when they realize the direct impacts they do, they start to do it, you know. They know exactly that their work is nothing but contributing to the real impact. And the job of the leader is to show that to your team members, that your work, you're working every single day has a meaningful impacts. Yeah. Okay. The second thing that I usually do to motivate my team and myself as well is to anchor myself with the present moment. Yeah, which is very important because as a human being, we have a concept of time that is the past, the present, and the future. And if we are focusing so much on the past, we may feel somehow distracted as well by some past experience like failures, like negativity. But then if you look to your goal, which is so far reaching, let's say 3-year goal or 5-year goals, that could be too far. It's like when you start to walk on the ladders, 100 stairs, for example, you try to look at the whole staircase, and then you become so distracted, discouraged by the number of steps and lots of work, then you become so overwhelmed, right? So the best way is to look at just the first few steps in front of you, then you can just go there. So it's keep motivation for you to do. Right, so anchor ourselves in the present moment, because only the present moment, that's the only time that we have the power to take action and to start. That's why one of my favorite slogan is from Nike company by Michael Jordan. Just do it. And I would say, just start, because sometimes doing is still difficult. Why not just say, just start it and just start now, right? And the next key word is, I think, action. You have to take action. You need to have the courage to start now and to take action now. Yeah, right. And so there are a lot of different kind of people. Some are great thinker, so they think a lot before they take action. And some are great feelers. They feel the emotion. Yeah, they feel the pain. However, if we don't start to take any action, then there won't be any results. So it's always, to me, I think we need to start taking action so that we can produce results. Yeah, and that's how we keep ourselves and our team motivated, because we want to see progress. Right.
Because with your management style, I can say like we have clear vision, we have clear mission, but we need to take it like step by step. Don't think about the whole thing, because the whole thing can distract us. That is why to know where we are, where to go, and what to do is really important. And thank you for that. And how do you handle difficult decision or conflict as a leader? Because on the way to do something, it's not smooth all the time. We face challenge. The team cannot work together, of course, and we have like different people, different ideas. So what to do to handle this situation?
Okay, thank you so much for the question. I think as a leader in organizations, I would say there's always problem. There's always issue for you to solve. And I think one of the best way to solve problem is to understand it first. And in order to understand the problem, the situation, you gotta get the feedback from people. And the best way to do that is to really listen to the people you think could have anything for you to have. Let's say a staff or a group of people or a team is right now having an issue or a problem. But then we need to understand from them deeply to solve it. We talk to them, we listen to them with great empathy. So the first step to solve problem is to listen to people with empathy. Deep listening or active listening is very, very important, right? And after we have understood them, we try to solve problem. I think I would use design thinking, or what I call system thinking. Because sometimes there's a problem somewhere here. However, if we just look at that area, there might not, you can't see the whole picture. You have to zoom out a little bit, or to fly up a little bit, then you will see what's happening in the whole system. For example, there's an interesting analogy about a farmer or a gardener. A farmer or gardener trying to try to water the plants. He's trying to adjust the water system, but then there's so little coming out from the plum, you know? Yeah. But then he's trying to push it more, but then nothing's going to happen. Nothing's happened. So he's trying to go through the whole plumbing system. So what he saw is just a twist in there, and then rather than just to try to put more pressure on the water, he's just trying to let the just to make a small direction to that plumbing system, and the water just come out easily. So in the same manner, as a leader, you have to have the big picture vision. You have to know your own system, like the whole system, so you can solve the problem better. And I would highly recommend people to think not just from that specific situation as a case, but from a very broad perspective as a system thinking, or what we call design thinking. And next, I think sometimes conflicts are very complicated, because it might involve not just the system itself, not to do with some technical thing. Conflict sometimes caused by emotions, relationship, fairness, transparency, and so on. When it comes to emotion or relationship or of fairness and transparency and so on, it has to be dealt very carefully. And in this case, we need to have clear principles of doing that. The human principle, respect, kindness, fairness, humanity, that align with the law of the company, the rule of our country. So I would say how I deal with conflict in my organization as a leader, I look at empathy, understanding the people truly. The second one is system thinking, trying to solve problem in a creative and from a big picture perspective. And last is the principle. Yeah. Interestingly, my organization core values are transparency, mutual support, respect, and kindness toward each other. And another thing, it's quite interesting to look at something that happened to us. I remember there's a conversation between a young boy and his master. A young boy say, "Hey master, why these things keep happening to me?" And then the master say, "Well, things keep happening." "What? Why things keep happening to me?" The master say, "Things happen. Things are happening." So what I want to say is that things keep happening in its own natural way. It's how you look at your perspective, So it's not just happening to you. It's just happening to everyone. And it doesn't have to be suffering. It can't just be a lesson learned, So rather than looking it as a problem, actually it's just a natural course. It's just a case. It's just a happenings. It's just an event, right? For example, when we are working together, then there is a disagreement between the team members. So as a leader, you can take that as a problem, or it's an issue, or it's something that we can overcome and we can grow from it. When there is a disagreement or there's a conflict somewhere, it could be a lesson learned from it. Oh, there's another opportunity for learning it. That means a system is broken somewhere. It's an opportunity to fix it, rather than it's a problem to be solved, it's people to be blamed. So it's not. So I would look at that as an opportunity. So when any problems happen, any happenings or any events happens, I take that as a case for study, as a case for learning, is an opportunity to fix it instead. I think it's a beautiful mindset, I would say, yeah.
So how do you balance your personal life with your leadership responsibilities?
Okay, thank you. That's a very important question, actually, because we are just one person, but in fact, we have lots of different lives, different aspects of our life, right? So how do we balance that? I think I would like to share with you my lessons that I've been having these days. First of all, I look at what we call the wheel of life. Maybe you have heard this before. In the wheel of life, there are lots of different aspects of our life, and everybody wants to have the work-life balance. It's like if we try to compare, it's like it's in the circle. It's round like this, and it has to go in the circle that way. So it's in the right balance, and we have different kinds of section. Some people like Stephen Covey suggest us to look at that balance as the 4 L's, 4-letter L's. First of all, he wants us to look at what we call I'm sorry, first L. Chụp I mean leave. Sao to cắt thế? Sao nhiều plek bảo đấy? Nhiều plek Việt này mà đấy mà. To live, to learn, to love, to leave a legacy. Anh đang tỏ đây là người nhung trong ở ban nô đó. Okay. topic way of life មកអញ្ចឹងណា okay and in order to give the balance to our life we have lots of framework for that and we usually call that as the wheel of life one of our famous author Stephen Covey gave us the idea of having the foundations of 4 L's. The first one is to live. That is, we look at our physical body. Are we really physically healthy? Yeah, so we like, you can scan yourself from head to toes and look at how healthy your body is, right? Do you have to do more exercise? Look at your blood pressures and so on and so forth. So that's the first one. And the second one in the framework of Stephen Covey is some people may have the very good physical health. However, in terms of mental health, they're not that great. So they have to be learning a lot of things in their own life. Okay, so that's learning. That's mental health, and it's not enough. Maybe the third one is to love. So a lot of people could be brilliant, very smart, and they're physically very healthy, but they don't have a very good relationship with people around, with their own family, with people at work. So it's important to be healthy in a social relationship as well. That is love. Last but not least, imagine the day that you die, for example. Then what kind of legacy you want to leave behind? Stephen Covey give this framework to us to be balanced, physically healthy, mentally healthy, socially healthy, and spiritually healthy, right? But then how can we keep this balance all together? And I've just read the other book called The One Thing. Yeah, The One Thing is a great book. And sometimes, especially in this society, we are caught up with a lot of things at the same time. We tend to be overwhelmed given the speed of AI as well. And the author recommends us just to focus on one thing. So it changed from balance to equilibrium. The word balance suggests it has to be equal, but sometimes life is a mystery. It can't always be equal all the time. Yeah, for example, you focus so much on your family because they need you. Your child, your parents, your grandparents. When they're sick, you need to take care of them, right? But other times, when they're okay, you can come back to your work. You need to be promoted. You just professionally better, more opportunity. So to be balanced actually is to know where you should focus on, and that is we call equilibrium instead of balance, right? Okay.
Yeah, so I will try to practice the 4L because you know what? Sometimes I feel like our life is so robotic. Why is it like that? Wake up in the morning, go to work, come back home, sleep, and then we do it again for the news day. And sometimes I just feel like it's hard to balance it because sometimes I cannot stop myself from working. And even I ask myself or told myself like, Sophia, if you die today, who will work this job? You need to think about your health. You need to think about how to rest sometimes. But in my mindset, I always just, you need to complete this. You need to do this. You need to finish this first because you have a lot of things to do for next. And then it's hard for me to balance. But I guess I will start with the 4L and think about it, reflect what I can do to improve myself on this area. Yes. So I want to ask you, what advice would you give to someone stepping into a leadership role for the first time? Especially, I really want to hear from you because it's a challenge for me as well when I start to take this role in the past several years. So it's hard. So I really want to have this advice as well. Yeah.
Okay, there could be a lot of pieces of advice on how to lead people well. but I'm just going to give you two for this, and these are my top two, I guess. The first one is the ability to read people. Yeah, to read what are their strengths, their weaknesses, what are their values, what are their goals. So when you can read them accurately, the more accurately you can read them, the easier and the more effectively you are able to lead them, to manage them, and actually to help them, to become better, right? For example, you want to delegate a task to one of your team members. So delegation is not just to assign work and then do, it's much more than that to be effective. You need to understand, once again, the person's personality, characters, strengths, weaknesses, value. So the question could be, if I assign this task to that person, can he or she do it well and on time? What benefits can that person get from doing the work, right? Yeah, and is it well aligned with our whole organizations to assign such work to that person? So that's super important. That's the ability to read your team members effectively.
Yeah, so the task delegation is not easy as well, because when I take the role of a leader, this is my biggest challenges. Maybe I told you many times, like, I don't know how to delegate the task to my team, because most of the time I think they are busy, they have their responsibility as well, and I want to take everything and to do everything on my own. And sometimes I want to take that they are told to do it as well, because it's hard to delegate. But yes, I need to check on it, and I will improve my.
Yeah, sure. And another thing is that in delegation the task, my background thought was about is a genuine care for that person. Like a few months ago, I had the chance to meet with my founder. She was here since 1996, helping build the organizations from the ground. And then I had the opportunity to ask her. I call her Mommy. Mommy, what advice would you give to our leaders? And then she just said, all right, you just have to genuinely care for them, because the world needs more care, right? So I believe that if your intention is to care for people, you will find a way to help them. Right? It's like Simon Sinek say, you when you know your big why, the what and the how will follow, right? And the last point, once again, is that I think to improve your team, you need to create an environment so that they could feel safe, what we call psychological safety, to try new things, and also make an environment where they can learn and improve every single day. That's a great concept from James Clear, one of the most famous author about habit formation, in his book on atomic habits. He gave us a story about the plane. There's a plane coming, like the destination of the plane is, for example, from New York to Washington, D.C. But then during the flight, something wrong, like there's a slight change in the navigation, just a very slight change. But over a long distance, the slight change from New York to Washington, D.C., changed to New York to another city, which is another almost 500 miles away. So you never know, the small change, if it is right direction, you're going to improve a lot every single day. But that's same for small change. If it happens over a long time, the direction is just going to be far away. The same way, if you get a great habit, you're going to greater every single day. But if you have a bad habit, it builds up to something like too bad for you to be secure from it. So his advice is to get better 1% every single day. Yeah. So I'd like to sum up a little bit here. to lead people well, you just need to genuinely care for them, right? And you also need to where are we? Sorry. Jump. Yeah, back again. So to lead people well, you just simply need to care for them genuinely, and never forget to give a chance for them to improve continuously. Yeah.
Yes, you're right. So, what has been the most rewarding part of your leadership journey?
I think the most rewarding part was the opportunity to help other people, and especially to help those who really need it. You know, now working in the current organizations, I feel like I'm very proud, and I'm really satisfied with my work because I'm helping the ones who really need the help, and it's so meaningful. In my line of work, because it reminds me when I was younger. Sometimes you need help, you need lots of help, but you didn't know how to get it, and you didn't receive help at all, right? So at the time you wish that you had somebody to help you. So looking back, it's like what I'm doing now is trying to help my younger self to improve, and that is meaningful, yeah.
Yes. Okay, so it's come to the last question. Looking back, what would you do differently in your leadership career?
Okay. I think I am the guy who is a big believer in learning through doing. Yeah. So I guess I would fail more, but I would fail forward. Because, you know, I sometimes in the past I was a thinker and I was a feeler as well. I thought a lot and I felt a lot, but sometimes it stopped me from doing. So I would from now on I suggest myself and other people as well is trying to do more. Of course, feeling is great. You try to understand other people's feeling and your own feeling to do certain things. And thinking is also great as well. You are a strategist. But without actions, nothing's gonna happen. There won't be any results without action. So I would say I would fail more. But this fail is fail forward. Yeah, it's fail forward. So this way, I'm going to grow better. And I think that's the advice I would give. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Bong, and I would say thank you so much for coming here today to share with us about your experience, your life. I feel everything that we heard today is really impactful and meaningful for us, and even I myself, I learned a lot during this episode, and I will take my habit, I will look at my habit as well, and I will try to be the one who can stand on the giant's shoulder. Yeah. And another thing is practice the 4L, yes, up to balance between the personal life and professional life, and I really love this. So everyone, ចាអរគុណទាំងអស់គ្នាសម្រាប់ការចំណាយពេលវេលាដ៏មានតម្លៃដើម្បីតាមដានកម្មវិធីរបស់យើងតាំងពីដើមរហូតដល់ចប់ហើយខ្ញុំសង្ឃឹមថាអ្វីដែលបងសុខសុភ័ក្រគាត់បានលើកឡើងនៅក្នុងថ្ងៃនេះនឹងជាបទពិសោធន៍មួយជាមេរៀនមួយដើម្បីជួយឲ្យជីវិតរបស់អ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នាកាន់តែល្អប្រសើរមិនថាជីវិតការងារឬក៏ជីវិតឯកជនរបស់អ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នាអញ្ចឹងនៅក្នុងគណៈនេះនាងខ្ញុំសុភាហើយខ្ញុំសុភ័ក្រសូមអរគុណនិងសូមជម្រាបលា